Hey guys, welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. It's me, Danae, and I'm back with another video. For this week's video, I have planned the life of a STEM Valley intern. You might be wondering, what is that? Well, I can tell you. So I had the wonderful opportunity to be a part of a program, an internship with the Menominee Valley Partners. And basically it's a STEM internship that allows young high school students, sophomores, juniors, and I believe all the way up to freshmen in college. And we get to job shadow and visit all different types of companies in Menominee Valley. Not a lot of people know about the Menominee Valley area, and I didn't know before this internship, and I'm so glad that I got the experience because things can be so close to you and you would never know that. Like, the amount of opportunities that I have just in the valley is insane, and a lot of them are related to the jobs that I want to do and the careers that I would love to pursue. The reason that I wanted to be a part of this internship, I wanted to get as much experience as I can with all different types of STEM careers. I never even thought of the amount of jobs that I got to experience.
Like architecture, woodworking, sailing, civil engineering, landscape architecture, interior design,
and so many other jobs. I was able to meet two amazing women, Nia and Katrina, who are basically people in charge of the internship, and I had a great time throughout these 7 weeks. And I'm just so glad I got to meet them, because also on top of that, I got to make some beautiful friendships with a lot of the interns that were there. Actually, this is probably, I believe, the most people that they've had in their internship. It's a total of 10 right now, and I know they've had 7, maybe 5. I'm not sure for the other years, but I know it's definitely growing, and it's probably going to get even bigger, and they're probably going to get a lot more partnerships with other companies in the valley and maybe outside the valley. So now that I've talked about a little bit of the background of what the STEM Valley internship is, I can now move on to the people I met, the places I visited, and the things that I learned. I just can't wait to share all the pictures and the videos with everybody. So for my first week of the internship, I was at a business called Zimmerman. It's an architectural studio. The building is just beautiful. I had a great time there. I met a lot of amazing people, and I got to see so many different types of projects that they were working on. So while I was at Zimmerman's architectural firm, there's technically 2 sides to it. The Harwood side, which is more the engineering side, and then the architecture side, which is more the architecture and the actual designing of whatever their projects are. I got to meet some landscape architects of municipal and government buildings, as well as educational buildings and entertainment buildings. So the way that their office is kind of set up is one side, of course, is the engineering and one side is the architecture. And they have color-coded cubicles, technically. So there are multiple different categories for how they go about their projects. So I don't remember all of it because this was weeks ago, but I remember there was
education, there was work, live, play, there was municipal and government, there was worship, there was healthcare, and I'm not sure how many more there were, but
I never really thought about being an architect, but I've been to 2 different companies that are architectural firms or studios, and doing that kind of work actually really interests me. I'm not one who's good at drawing, but the thought of being able to see what you made in person and seeing like how it came to life, honestly, is just probably the most rewarding thing that I can think of. Just like every other career, you have your amazing outcomes from the work that you've done. And I think that's just awesome because you get to see these buildings that are being built and you're like, oh my gosh, I drew that. So I think that's actually really cool. The environment of Zimmerman overall was just amazing. They had a Bring Your Dog to Work week, which I thought was so cute. Unfortunately, I am allergic to dogs, but it was just a great time. We got to go to the domes, and I just got so many pictures from that week. Before I move on, I would like to say that every Friday was something different. So Monday through Thursday, we would have that specific time, those 4 days with that company and learning about their jobs and shadowing them. And then that Friday was something different as a whole. And that was like so fun because we started off being separate. So the first week we weren't together as a group. So slowly over those Fridays we got to get closer, and eventually we had a full MVP week where we were together for the whole group. So that was really fun, getting to know the people who were in the same internship as me.
Discovering their interests and why they're here, how they got here, what they want to do, what school they go to, you know. So just making friends with everybody who I was around was just a really great experience.
So the following week was a business called Benish, and they're an engineering construction firm. I'm not sure what word to say. My favorite parts of being there was the last 2 days because we got to go on site and see the actual construction in action, and seeing how in places that I've driven past, like what they're actually doing. So that was actually really cool to see. The first 2 days we were in meetings mainly. We were talking about a road in Connecticut, which was actually really cool. So actually from Benish, I can show some of my drawings that I did. So
the first drawing, I'm not a very good artist, by the way, but here's one. Here's another one. It was just a fun little activity, a fun hands-on activity about like, oh, what would you like to see this bridge look like, or what are your ideas? So that was fun. And that's what I got to do from Benish. I met a lot of great people. I met some other interns, like college interns, and I got to learn about where they're coming from and why they want to do what they're doing. Also, I stepped in wet concrete on accident, so that was horrible. I felt so bad. Anyway, I had a great time at Benish, so moving on.
Hey guys, so I have some models. While I was at All Hands Boat Works, I got to do some hands-on activities, which was so fun.
And I can show you guys what these two models look like before I painted them, but they're little sailboats. Just, here's the motor house and deck house, the sail, the mast, and then the boat. So here's one, here's another. Oh, that side doesn't look that good. Anyway, yeah. I can show a picture, probably like next to me,
of what it looked like before I painted it. And looking at it from this far, you wouldn't think that it would have taken as many tools as it did, but it took about like
15 to 20 different tools for the nails, the drills, the bandsaws, the regular saw. Actually, I used a Japanese saw. I used some wood glue. I used a sander, a hand sander, handheld, and one that you like goes like, yeah. So it didn't take long, but it took a lot more tools than you would think.
I also had to use hot glue, scissors, all that. So for the other model, I built this. Yes, I know. This is what it looks like from the side. This is the back. Honestly, I'm really proud of myself. Yeah, it didn't take me that long, and it was a really fun activity, so I had a great time doing that. Also, I can show what the drawing looked like before I actually made it. But while I was at CKA, Christopher Kidd & Associates, I learned a lot, actually. I learned a lot about what I like, because I'm not the best at drawing, but making the models, like, which I know isn't the same as drawing and making the plans, but I had a great time just learning about what it means to be an architect. So I have an architect's toolkit. I was given all of these papers
about organization and communication, creativity, and how this all has to do with being an architect.
I met Thea Waters. She was with us for the entire time. She took us around the building, which
they have 3 different stories. The first one is like for weddings, you can host events there. The second floor is where they actually work, and then the third floor is where you can have like meetings, whatever you really want to do there. You can also host more events up there. And there was a lower level, and they had this really cute room, which is for usually the bridesmaids and the bride, for when they're getting ready, when they're changing their dress, like whatever. And usually around that time, that's when they would go up to the 3rd floor. So the basement was actually so cool. They had really cool rooms in there. So it was just nice to look around and see what the whole building looks like. So yeah.
I also got to meet Christopher Kidd. He was there for one day. I shook his hand. That was pretty cool. I'm kind of jumping all over, but I believe it was my 3rd or 4th week I was at All Hands Boat Works. I had such a great time there. I learned so much. I got to use so many different tools. And somebody who's interested in marine biology, which I said before, I used to be interested in coding and it kind of flip-flop and I've been all over the place. Learning about boats, the different terms for boats, the different parts of a boat, which I think is going to be important for somebody who's probably going to be on a boat a lot or whatever. Anyway, I learned what
a port is. I learned what starboard means. I learned that they don't say rope, they say line on a boat. I learned, I learned what a keel is. So that's pretty cool.
That was what it was like the first day, learning the different parts of the boat at the community sales center. The second day, me and Patrick, we were putting up the All Hands Boat Works like sign. It was like an art piece that was given to them, and I got to like drill holes. I got to learn new knots. I think it's called a bow knot or a bow knot. I don't remember what it's called, but I still know how to do it. I remembered how to do it. The third day, we went to the boatyard and we just cleaned up. Just had a really great time there because I was nervous going into it, mainly because I was gonna be on my own and that was my first week on my own. But I just felt so welcome and I got to meet
Eddie and I got to meet Bill and I got to meet Trent and a few other people like Will. So
I'm hoping that I could volunteer whenever. It's definitely a place that I will have in my mind forever because look at these. So when I was talking about value engineer process at Benish, this is what I mean.
There's an information phase, a function analysis phase, speculation phase, evaluation phase, development phase, and presentation phase. So that's what all of this looks like. And I took notes.
Over the past few weeks, I've accumulated lots and lots of like papers and packets. I see over here, what is a manufacturing engineer? Why standards are needed. I got this from Harley Davidson. So I was at Harley Davidson powertrain operations. While I was there, I wasn't able to take a lot of pictures or videos. I had to sign an NDA.
Can I say that?
So yeah, what is a manufacturing engineer?
Someone who designs and manages manufacturing systems, managing processes and or assembly processes. So
this, like I said, is from Harley Davidson powertrain operations. I was there with another intern, Elisa. When I tell you, going into that building, it is
a huge building.
There was just, it was endless walking. While we were there, we learned about different parts of a motorcycle, which I never knew. We were with somebody named Chase, and he made everything really fun. And I learned like what a piston is, what a clutch looks like, because you hear all of these words and you don't really put them into like what it looks like in a car. Of course I don't. Seeing how they put the engines together, it's really cool because you can see each process, like each little station, which
not little, very big. Each
station of how these machines and these robots are doing so much, as well as the people who are in charge of like the machines, because obviously the robots aren't gonna do everything. So there were a lot of people there. There were all different types of stations
and areas. That we were in the tool room one day. We were with HR and quality, manufacturing. I don't think I've ever walked that much in my life.
Where we've been, we've gotten just some amazing advice. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have everything figured out. Because sure, you could get to college and know exactly what you want to do until you don't. So yeah, these people were just constantly reassuring me that I don't have to have every single second of my life planned out. It's definitely made me feel way more secure. And junior year can be a lot, I know, and I've heard. So knowing that as long as I am confident that I can be successful in whatever field that I choose, that everything will be okay. So thank you to everyone who was able to instill those words into my brain. I don't think I'll ever forget them. Thank you to everybody. Mia and Katrina, thank you to this experience. Thank you to all the friends that I've made. So now that I've talked about the weeks, cue the video. I gotta get the angles.
you.